Blessings. So, family, it's Jules with Activate Evolution, a pathway to infinite possibilities. Today, I want to go into the heart space. And this is truly the place where we all will begin to live our lives. But I feel like there's a few things I'd like to talk about on bringing some clarity of what it is to live from our heart space. And then I also want to do an activation to connect our heart space to the divine intelligence so that we can start to move into the feeling or knowing that is within our hearts versus being confused with maybe an emotion being from our heart. Emotion and feeling are very different things. An emotion is a chemical response in the body that is most often triggered by a program or collective consciousness. This is why society can very easily be controlled through emotion because when somebody wants to create a fear response in order to control, it is not hard to do if somebody is living in their first, second, and I'm going to go even into the third chakra. Chakras are diminishing, especially as we start to enter our heart space. Chakras aren't going to hold the same information or create the same experience as they have in the past. We are truly transcending even past our chakras. But just for the sake of communicating through this video or podcast, if you are listening to this as a podcast, we will just say that the first three chakras are very much in physical reality. They are all created to keep us safe through either instinct. The first chakra is the space of that very primal energy. The second is having a family or a tribe to fit into, and then having reflection in order to tell us what is right and wrong. And the third chakra is really when we start to move into that me energy, where we start to self-identify, but we also start to self-identify through more of those intuitive hits, but they are still based on keeping us safe. When we move into the heart space is when we really start to tip into an intelligence outside of primal response. It is the one space where we can start to live beyond our programming and tap into an intelligence that is beyond what we would call collective consciousness, our own programming. It very much taps into the universal language and starts to guide us into a life that we didn't really think possible until we stepped into that heart space. So, an emotion, when it is triggered, we know that we are still in the first three chakras. When we move into feeling, it becomes a knowing. There's no chemical response in a feeling. It is just a frequency that we identify in, and then we take the intelligence of that frequency, and then we know what it is that we're feeling. An example of this is knowing that we are in love with somebody, not the kind of love that is created in an emotion. When we first start to fall in love with someone, we are triggered with emotion. It's part of the primal response of reproducing and surviving as a human race. To reproduce means survival. But once we pass that first 6 to 8 months, that chemical response of love begins to kind of settle down. And then we move into the feeling of love, where we just know that we love someone, but it's not necessarily triggered by the emotion. People that get addicted to the emotion of love will often end relationships right around 6 to 8 to 10 months and go searching for the emotion of love because that is what they think love is. But love is actually a frequency. And once we attune to that frequency, there's something in us that just knows that we love somebody. And that is a very different kind of love. And as we ascend into the new earth, this feeling of love will be our guidance system. It is a frequency that we can have the ability to feel in all relationships. So we stopped identifying love by the type of relationship it is, and we start identifying it in this frequency that it's actually holding. And that frequency comes from the heart. It is the space where we really tap into who we are on a soul level, like where we came from, that intelligence within us that is beyond our programming. When we start to move into our heart is when we start to awaken to the miracle pattern, and we start to live in the space where everything is possible. When we can bypass primal response in that survival pattern or the way of living in the first three chakras, we truly open up to allowing the divine to move into our experience and become the expression of the intelligence that is behind that. And that intelligence is within every single one of us. And if you are listening to this podcast, this is what you're here to do, is to really move into the heart space, express the frequency of love, and then awaken to all of the possibilities that are behind that. So let's go ahead and do the activation. And so go ahead if you would like. If you're not driving, if you're driving, please keep your eyes on the road, and you can go back and listen to this a little bit later. So just attune as we shut our eyes and connect to our heart space. And start with breathing in that beautiful white blue light, allowing it to trace along the brain and down through the spine and out through the mouth, attuning the spinal fluid to the divine frequency, allowing this frequency to activate the fluid around the brain, awakening the part of the mind connected to divine intelligence. And in the next breath, as this light moves along the brain and down through the spine, allowing it to enter your heart space and expand. Just feeling this white blue light expanding into the heart. And now bringing all your thoughts, your consciousness into this light within your heart. Allowing it to merge with the light, letting go of all thoughts and worries. And just noticing as you allow your consciousness to enter the light, that your body begins to attune to the frequency held within the light, the divine intelligence. We'll allow this intelligence to enter the heart and move into the bloodstream as it begins to pump throughout your entire body, feeling the divine frequency as it moves through your body, activating, amplifying, and elevating your frequency. Just taking a moment to feel as your body lights up in this beautiful divine light. And we'll move into the unity cell in the sacred heart, just above the physical heart. And in this space, we will activate the code that holds the frequency of divine love, activating your fourth chakra so that you may move into the experience of living in divine love. As we connect to the miracle pattern, the magic, I'll move right into the nucleus of the cell as we trace the double helix, identifying where we will turn on the code of divine love. And I found it, so we'll bring our attention right through the double helix into source frequency, connecting to particles of possibility, bringing them through to the probability of positive 8, 5, 1, 3, 11, 4. We'll allow that to sequence, moving into the energy centers of the sacred heart, activating and awakening your heart chakra as it begins to spin the hydrogen atoms, allowing a frequency to move into the heart space, attuning you to divine love as you are in full expression of this beautiful frequency, taking a moment to witness, feel, and experience the frequency of divine love. This is love. This is your birthright. This is your true essence. It's allowing yourself to celebrate yourself in this space. Allowing yourself to feel the frequency of love for yourself. And allowing this frequency to expand to all that you encounter. For everyone deserves the frequency of love in every reflection. This frequency is the purest form where no boundaries are needed. So just bring to mind someone that maybe is causing you pain, interference, annoyance, or anger. And as you see them in front of you, just allow this frequency of love to attune to the frequency of love within them. You're not sharing the frequency. You're just attuning, just like the sun. You are just shining your light, and this light is holding divine love. And just continue to watch this person as you visualize them in front of you. And just notice how you feel nothing but divine love. And if there's other feelings that creep in, notice them and bring those feelings into the light that is holding the frequency of divine love. Just taking a moment to repeat that until it's completely neutralized. You don't need to forgive. You don't need to tell them one thing. All you need to do is neutralize the feelings within yourself and return to divine love. This is the fastest way to change any relationship that is out of attunement with the divine within you. You are not a victim. You are a way shower. You are a light worker, and your light is needed in the world. Now just taking in a deep breath, reconnecting to that beautiful frequency of love within your heart, knowing that you have the ability to attune your entire world, every part of your reality to this frequency, if you choose. And just relaxing into how powerful that feels. You have a choice in this moment. Am I going to live in love, the frequency, not the emotion? Or am I going to choose survival and primal instinct? And if you choose love, say that to yourself or aloud. I choose divine love. I choose to shine my light. I choose to practice what it is to attune my reality to to the frequency of divine love. And now commit to that. Ask the divine to show you the way. Show me how to be a beacon of divine love. Show me how to be a channel of divine grace. Show me how to connect to the miracle pattern. Show me how to attune every relationship I have to divine frequency. And then go experience what that's like. Experience what the divine brings through for you to see and attune. And then life becomes magical because you see it as your mission in life, attuning your reality to the divine frequency. In that space, everything is magical. In that space, you cannot fail. Just breathing that in and celebrating yourself for choosing love. I celebrate you in this very moment, and I am sending you the frequency of divine love. So just from this day forward until we meet again, go self-discover. Self-discover who you are when you are committing to the frequency of divine love. Sending you lots of divine love. Until we meet again, go and live to your highest.